Hi, my name is Cindy, and we're going to be doing an equivalent fractions activity today. We are going to be making equivalent fraction flowers. And this is what they'll look like. The center, petals, and stem are all made out of construction paper, and I cut out little objects to trace around for the petal, for the center, and for the stem. I cut them out of cardboard that was taken off of the back of a legal pad, but you can use any kind of cardboard. I used a circular object, which this is a lid off of one of my vitamin bottles, to trace around to make the center and the petals. And then I just freehand drew the stem. And you can cut out several of these at a time by folding the construction paper over. So you don't have to cut them out one at a time. The fraction in the center is the fraction you'll find the equivalent fractions for. The petals are the equivalent fractions. And as you find each equivalent fraction in the gizmo, write it on a petal. Then once you get all of your equivalent fractions, once you find all of those, then go ahead and put them in order from left to right, starting with the smallest on the left and the largest on the right. And the reason you're going to do this is you're going to paste them around from the bottom left here all the way around. And that will help your students to see that we started with a top number, a numerator of 1, and then as we progress up in the fractions, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're skip counting up. And then the bottom number, the denominator is 2. We go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And they'll see a similar skip counting pattern for all of the equivalent fractions they find for each flower. And if you go up to 2/3, you will see a similar thing. You have 2 for the numerator, the top, so your equivalent fractions will have 2, 4, 6, 8. The bottom number or the denominator will say 3, 6, 9, 12. And the reason I only have 3 petals on here is we can only find 3 equivalent fractions to 2/3 in the gizmo, but then you can extend that pattern and find the next 2. And after they try several of them, they should be able to do that. So now let's take a look at the gizmo and see how we can find these equivalent fractions. Now let's look for the gizmo. Click on Find Gizmos. Type in equivalent fractions. There it is. There is our gizmo, and we are going to launch that. And we will be using fraction tiles to try to find those equivalent fractions to write on our flowers. So we're going to clear to start with. I'm going to use yellow, and we already have 1/2 in the bottom left box, so that's exactly what we want. That's our first center. Go ahead and drag that to the top bar. Now we're going to make some pink petals, which will be our equivalent fractions. So click on pink. You'll see that that'll turn pink. And we're going to go to 1/4. Click on Make Tile to make those tiles so we can drag them to the bottom bar. And now the gizmo tells us that 1/2 is equivalent to, show sums, 2/4. And 2/4 is what you will write on a petal. To go on to the next one, find the next equivalent fraction, just drag those 1/4 tiles to the trash can. I'm going to go up to 1/6, make some tiles. Now students may try 1/5, 1/7, fractions that won't work, and that's okay. When they find ones that won't work, drag those tiles to the trash, start again. 3/6 does work though. It is equivalent to 1/2, so you will write 3/6 on a petal. Continue on until you found the 5 equivalent fractions to 1/2, and you can find 5 equivalent fractions in the gizmo to 1/2. So click clear, because now we're going to use a different center, and I'm just going to use 2/3. You can use whatever numbers you want in the center. I'm just using these 2 as examples. 2/3, make tile, drag to the top. Then we're going to change to pink. We're going to change that top number, the numerator, to 1, and we're going to change that bottom to 6. By now, the students may have a feel for the skip counting idea and say, well, we're going to go 3, 6. They can test it out in the gizmo. And there we go, drag all those to the bottom bar. And then you will see that 4/6 is in fact equivalent to 2/3. So you'll write 4/6 on a petal. Go ahead and keep on going. You're only going to be able to find a few fractions though. You won't be able to find all 5 for 2/3 because, as you can see when you click the up button, only the only numbers that the top and the bottom will go to, the numerator and denominator will go to in the gizmo, is 12. So that's as far as you could go. Students will have to use their skip counting patterns that they found to find other equivalent fractions. So that's the gizmo. Have fun with the activity, making your fraction flowers and using the gizmo.